a classic. I'll sign it for you as soon as I make my first million. And
Shit.
quote that because I know Jim Carrey did that once and he ended up
Yeah,
signing a $10 million check.
there you go.
I've been saying 100 million just so that I could get that extra zero on there. Like,
Do the 100 million. That's
yeah,
right. Go
right.
for the
$100 million check.
gusto.
You gotta go. Yeah, now we're talking trillions nowadays. Trillions.
Yes,
Is
now
yeah. You
million
gotta
and
talk
billion.
trillions.
That's like chunk
Billions
change
is too
nowadays.
little.
It's trillion.
We got infrastructure. We got too much to do. You gotta want that trillion.
You gotta want that.
You gotta want that. Like I'm going to the moon.
After taxes, shit, how much you staying with?
A couple of trillion.
Oh, there's me.
$3 million after taxes. You'd be like, yo, how?
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Eddie, I'm glad you back.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Yay, I'm glad to be back. I told Mercury retrograde, don't fuck with me this Monday because I have to make it to my comedy class.
Okay, good.
Love it. I love it. All right, guys. Well, we're hot right now.
Are you playing with an Etch-a-Sketch, Mark?
No, believe it or not, people are asking about the new dates for the workshop. So I'm just so I love that. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
So when we get off, as a matter of fact, I have to talk to Caesar and Laura about the next dates because we're done with the advanced coming up in a couple weeks. So,
cool.
You know, and then you guys will probably, God willing, you guys will say, "Hey, Mark, we want to do the intermediate." And
I want to go. You know, I want to go all the way, all the way.
That's what I'm talking. And I know my boy, Chantel, my girl Chantel Rivera wants to do the same thing. So.
Of course. You already know I'm in there.
No, pero Chantel, tú estás buena.
Pero Chantel.
My favorite joke of yours,
my name today, okay? Chantel.
Ricardo, my favorite joke is that you like being hit on by dudes.
Yes.
It just makes you get from anywhere. My dude, you're gonna do that on stage, and you're gonna be that shit is so funny, bro. So when you get more connected to a set, I always, not only do I listen to you, I write everything down for my notes. So what I'll do is next week, I'm gonna bring up notes. I want, if we'll continue on to the intermediate, this is for everybody. I'm gonna take notes and say, this is gonna be the driving part of your set. I already know where Mion is going because I don't want her to write for another character. Her relationship with her daughter, that's where we're gonna start. Mion, that's not your whole set. I don't know if you can pull 5 from that, but I want you to start there because anything from there is gonna be golden. It's so funny and it's so you that you don't need to go much further than that, I promise you. Now with Ricardo, he writes these, 4-hour stories. So we're gonna have to, and this is the thing, they're all funny, they're all fun to hear, but as for the value of comedy, we have to slice you down some. And what I'm saying is, what I was just thinking was that stuff you do about where you are in your set completely is, like trying to be a good man at home, trying to be a good dad, loyal, no outside interferences, but, right? Big but is, I don't mind getting hit on by gay dudes because I know you just have your own spirit that goes with that joke that I love, bro. And it's really, really, really funny. And it's just like, it's almost like it's a vulnerable you. You know what I mean? It's like, look, I don't need women to hit on me, but I don't mind when the guys hit on me because X, Y, you know what I mean? Because of whatever your feeling is. Again, I don't want to write for you. I'm just always in your mental space. Yeah. So, and I think I want that to be a part of your vulnerability in your first 5 to 7 minutes. You know what I mean? And let all the other stuff come from there. The stuff you do about your mom too, is next. The superhero mom is now, and that's honestly,
those are the two we're working on.
Yo, my dude, those are the two things that are gonna have the most value in 5 to 7 minutes. That doesn't mean you're not gonna write an hour, bro. Same thing with you guys. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna write an hour. The point is you're not gonna get an hour on stage in the beginning. So see, this is the frustrating part of being creative. You start to get these juices flowing. And then you go, oh my God, Mark, after the advance, I went on stage and I want to go on stage every day because, yo, the other day I wrote a joke about blah, 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 blah. But it's not as funny as the stuff that you already wrote. So it's kind of a curse, a blessing and a curse in the beginning to sort of figure out what am I going to be on stage? Am I going to be the Ricardo that does this? Or do I want to do this new shit in the car that I thought about? You know what I mean? This new shit in the car that I thought about.
But I got to work on the stuff that's good. And
right. I want you to, right. Now understand, a set is a set is a set. Meaning, if I'm Mariah Carey, people want to hear the songs that I've been working on. They want to hear the songs that I perfected. They want to hear the songs that are hits on the top of the charts. They just don't want to come in and hear you do the random song. They don't. So I know it's hard when you're in the beginning and you're trying to create, but there's a value in doing the material over and over and over and perfecting that 5 to 7. As I said, you don't even need more than that to get on television. You really don't. But if you can stay committed to the 5 to 7 minutes, right? And have another 5 sort of in the clip, ready to go, that's what you do when you're working. So let's say, you know, you finally get to a comedy club and they're like, yo, the other comedian didn't show up. Can you do 10? And you're like, yes, because I've been working on the 5 to 7. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with this new shit and close with my shit that I know is funny. You understand what I mean? That stuff that I've been working on for a year.
Practice the beginning.
Yeah,
and
6,
if
7
it
months.
doesn't, or it does, then you got
exactly. Now you can close with the stuff that you know is funny because you did it last week, you did it the week before, and so on and so on. So there's
at the end.
It's a thought. Yeah, it's a thought process that I don't want you. There's a thing when when we're done. This is my commitment is for everybody who joins the workshop is to have 10 minutes of sellable comedy when they're done. I know that sounds like a little bit. I promise you, 10 minutes is a lot. 10 minutes is a lot. Now you might say, but Mark, I left and now I got 15. But it's like, no, I understand that. You're gonna have 15. You may have 16 minutes. I'm promising you 10 that will get you onto a comedy stage and for you to succeed when you get on there. You understand what I mean? And that doesn't mean flawless perfection and applause and standing ovations. Like but man, if you can get laughs from these stuck-up ass people, believe me, I do it every night. It ain't easy, okay? I mean, my woman sits in the audience and she's like, what the hell? Like this, like she can tell the temperature in the room, what audience was tight, what audience was giving me everything. And it's just, you got to let the audience be who they are, live in what they live in. But at the same time, you still got to be you. I want you guys to stay committed to the you parts in your set because you can, my dude, you can, like I said, you can do the whole, yo, what's crazy about what happened with Trump and blah, blah, blah. And that shit is just going to be, fly by night comedy. My job is to make people remember the you in the comedy. I want people to remember all of you guys. When you leave, I want them to be doing your jokes in the car. Oh my God, when he said, yo, that he don't mind gay dudes hitting on because it boosts his self-esteem, that shit had me done. But they remember word for word what you said. You understand? That is
tied in with my mom too. That's what I'm trying to do with. I'm trying to bring it in to try to add to the mom jokes and the mom stuff because I try to put in there that it's messed up growing out without a father because you grow up with your mom's problems and your mom's issues. I always wanted to grow up being a sexy girl. You know what I'm trying to say? And I'm a guy. You know what I'm trying to say? So how I grow up wanting to be a sexy girl, I wanted guys to take me out, pay my bills. All I wanted to do was show up and look good, take me to the beach, take pictures of me by myself and shit like that, But then eventually it was like I wasn't gonna get that from females,
Yeah. So why not the guys? But exactly. I'm gonna let my girl Adela. I want you to start us off this week. I'm not gonna go in my notes. I want you to just recap any premises from the last time. Any stories that you came up with, any premises,
everything.
so we can get going. Caesar, what stand-up do we have that we can come up with? I forgot to ask you earlier.
I have many different ones. I'll pick one out.
All right, pick one out, I guess, while we're doing this, and then maybe I'll just go. I'll go kind of from the backwards forwards this time. We'll watch some comedy at the end. And then next week, guys, next Monday, I'm going to have a special guest join us to listen to you guys and then to give us some feedback, some love, and and work with us on basically the next chapter. I always like to do that so that you guys just don't hear from me what it is, like what the big the big picture is. Okay, so the value in your writing, the value in your act outs, Mian, because Mian, I must admit, what I'm getting from you is a slightly shyness in committing to the act out, right? When you say, I don't really, Mark, you act like my daughter better than me. And I'm like, well, because again, I'm already used to committing to the act out. So right now you could say, Mark, what did the dog say? And I swear, this dog will be a Jamaican, whatever, because in my mind, I've already done this. Like you can't catch me off guard because I will make it up instantly and have fun. I know how to have fun with this stuff. And so what I want you guys to remember, number one, is the act out is so important to the story if you're going to tell a story. Secondly, it's really about commitment to the act out. That's why I said Ricardo is different, because it's funny. His story is 20 pages long, but he doesn't care. He'll commit to the act out, which again is already a strong suit, because you see a value in becoming the character, right? So I want you guys to understand that the value of that act out. So when you do the act out, whether it be, like me, I do my grandfather, and boy, when I become my grandfather, it is a big, it's like this big thing, because I love him. When I tell you guys that I love this dude, and I don't know, every time I become him on stage, I feel like he's with me, he's riding with me, he's rocking with me. Not only that, he always approved of me being funny. So how can I let him down when I do his character? So when I do my, it's instant. It's like, mira, mole, po, get over here, you son of a bitch. And my grandfather, like, because he whistled when he talked. So I would always jump in. Like anytime I become him on stage, that's what happens. It's a full, Mian, it's full embodiment, because you're not doing it out of I'm making fun of you. You're doing it almost like a homage. Like I'm becoming you because I want people to see you. I want to paint the story of us in this with these brilliant, vibrant colors. So I don't want you to be intimidated by the acting, because acting is important, guys. In the grand scheme of things, I get offers to read, big ass movies with big actors, because I think people watch my set and go, wow, this dude actually is acting, he acts like his grandmother, he acts like the, blah, blah, whatever. So, understand that the training I'm trying to give you is to find even the small things important, the tiny little details important, and the act outs, I promise you, are going to be worth it when you get on stage. In here, look, this is the problem. Zoom curtails us. It makes us feel tiny, right? This big. And you have to realize that on stage, when you're big and the audience is looking up, God, you're bigger than everything in the room, and especially under those lights and under the particular circumstance, you're just big. I realize I take up the whole stage. I go left. Ricardo, you've seen me. I use left. I use right. I use the ceiling if I have to. I climb a ladder if I have to. There's a stage in Jersey, the Stress Factory, and there's a payphone behind me. You know how many calls I've made on that payphone during my set, and it doesn't even work? It's there. As long as it's there, it's a prop. Yeah, the stool has been a car. It's been a bed. It's been a, you know what I mean? And I lay down on that thing all the time on stage, and people are like, "What the hell?"
Practice with my stool here in the house. I practice to try to see what I could use it for.
Yeah, and again, and Caesar can tell you guys that I'm doing advanced now, and I'm telling them, stand up. Stand up, hold this like a microphone, because at some point you got to get used to it. You got to, we're doing comedy. You guys got to get used to holding something in your hand. It's a microphone. You got to hold this in your hand. You have to speak into it. Right? One of the guys in my workshop,
don't have as much practice as we do.
Right. One of the guys in my workshop went on stage. What do you think the first mistake was that he did? He held the mic down by his waistline. Couldn't hear what he was saying. Why? Got nervous. You know, you can train all you want, right? You can practice driving all you want. The day of the road test, you're nervous as hell. You got to use the bathroom 62 times, and you know how to drive. You've been driving for a year with, you know, with people.
No
without people.
license.
Exactly. But when you get in the car in the heat of the moment, you don't really kind of account for the nerves. That's why I put a high value on repetition. Doing it again. All right, guys, do it again. Okay, do it again. All right, I messed up. Do it again. It's okay. Do it again. I do this shit a million times, guys. My set is over and over and over. Do I change little things? Absolutely. But is the basis of my set the same? Absolutely. I don't change the characters. I don't one day go, oh, my grandmother. And then I go, grandma doesn't need to be in that. Hell no. I go, this is the act out. This is my commitment to that act out. So with that, I'm going to let my girl Adela go ahead and hit us with something. Give us something to laugh about. Come on.
Well, let me tell you something. I always knew I was different. You know, that growing up, you're always seeking your identity. And so that was always part of me. I grew up in the Bronx. I'm a Bronx girl, tried and true. Whoop, whoop. And so I knew I was special when my friends always had to go home at 7:30. And I'm like, damn, why are they going home at 7:30 already? Like it's still light outside and stuff. And so I thought it was me. Because I remember I wasn't that great with my hygiene, like this stuff. If I did it, I used the roll-on from Avon in my grandmother's closet because she didn't keep it in the medicine cabinet. She kept it in the closet. Don't ask me why. Weird. I'm not like her. Anyway, going through that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask my friends, why do you leave me at 7:30 every day? And they were like, girl, it's the novela. Mommy got to go upstairs and I got to be upstairs by 8 o'clock. If I'm not upstairs by 8 o'clock, I'm late. And I'm like, oh, that's why they leave me. So all of a sudden, I go to my grandmother. I be like, yo, mommy, it's going to be 7:30. Like, don't you got to go somewhere? She goes, ¿para dónde carajo tú crees que yo voy? Si ya yo llegué donde estoy en la tienda. Pero no hay, you're not gonna go watch the novela, ma? No, qué novela, ni de 8 cuartos. Mira, cómprate una pizza y tráeme el cambio. Y avanza que vas 3 minutos y vas tarde. Rápido, janca. And I'm like, damn, I am special. Like everybody gotta go home, but I get to go buy me some pizza right now. So I always knew I was special when I was growing up. She was always part of the Bodega Patrol. Never came home before 12 o'clock midnight, so I always hung out late at night. I walked to Jersey, came back. She was still in the bodega. I mean, trust me when I tell you, I did not have a childhood like everybody else. So I am special. And all of that is true.
Funny, I like that.
I need to add more to it, I think, or...
No, you just, you know, look, there's keywords to make it shorter, right? There's keywords to make it shorter. You know what's crazy about how I grew up? Now you go into your story.
Okay.
Right? So, you know, remember that to get to your stuff quicker, we have the catchphrases, we have the little sort of, let me explain it to you without having to use all my favorite words. You're just gonna break it down. So it's like, you know what's crazy about how I grew up? Now the audience, like I said, is going, but well, what happened? What happened? Because it was crazy for me too, but what happened to you? They're looking for the connective tissue. Now you just got to give it to them. Okay. When I grew up, I could stay out late. You know why? Because my mother was that your mother?
She was my grandmother, actually.
Oh,
my
okay.
father's mother.
Okay, so my grandmother was a Rolling Stone. She liked to stay out. She liked to hang out. So there's keywords.
Okay.
And then unfortunately, we have to cut the story down to what makes it funny.
Right.
You know, so comedy is about taking the full story and then bringing it in to make it funny. I could tell, like I tell this story about going to LaGuardia Airport and the girl that worked at the lady that worked at the pretzels, you know, whatever that pretzels is, Wetzel's pretzels or whatever that shit is. It's like 5 a.m. and I'm starving, right? Starving, but I gotta make flights. So I walk by, I smell the pretzels and I'm like, coño, let me see if they got pretzels. So I go up and she turns around and her eyebrows were like, y me dio un susto, like I thought something was on her face. She turns around and I scream and then she screams. And I'm like, yo, I don't even scream. Like, I'm from the Bronx. We don't scream like that. But her eyebrows scared the living hell out of me. So this is a whole story, but I try to keep it. So what I did with you guys is make you laugh as I'm telling my story. You understand what I mean? So when you laughed at that I put that there on purpose because it's gonna make you laugh. Because she screamed, I screamed, but everybody's like, "Ay, yo, he's crazy, yo," right? But that the punchline is, you know, mira, how I tell the girl what happened. He like what, and she's like, I'm like, it looks like the bat signal. Like who? Why do you have the bat signal on your face? You know what I mean? And I'm like, because it's real early, and if Batman comes now, he's gonna be pissed that it's just your face. Because I don't know if you see these women the way they tattoo the eyebrows sometimes be out of control, and you don't know how to tell them that that's their face. Like, yo, that's your, why did you? And so my you know, my comedy lives in the small details. So Adela, the only thing you have to get comfortable with is bringing the funny into those small details.
Okay.
So the story stays funny throughout. I want to hear your story, but I want to laugh in between.
Right.
Ha, ha,
Right.
ha. And then you need a punchline. Again, which is last week you missed, is the hard part. The hard part is defining the punchline. So
I was so sick. Trust me when I tell you, I was so sick. 4 people in my office had COVID-19. 4. And I'm working in that same vicinity, but I didn't get the COVID. Thank you, God. Knock on wood.
Yeah. Well, you should have called me because I have the antibodies. I could have sent you some in a bottle.
Huh?
I could.
I
have the antibodies. I could have.
Oh, that's right.
I could have sent you some in a little botellita.
You should have that shit on. You should have an infomercial. I got them antibodies, bro. You should have me go to the block. I want to be the video.
Caesar's been watching me. Caesar's been watching me do the COVID. I got a joke called COVID Man, and Caesar's been watching me, and now I have like. I have all these different taglines.
You
like
were in a car where you were crying, and you were crying because of the results that you have antibodies now. And I'm like, what?
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't know what to do with them, but now I know what to do. You know, now I'm a superhero.
Yeah. I want to make, you know, the Trojan Man like sound.
Yeah.
I want it to be COVID Man.
COVID Man.
It's like you're in the house and you're like, I swear, I wish COVID Man would come and help me. And I'm out the window like that. Look, and the fire is.
Yo, we gotta do the video, bro. For real.
Yeah, that's a skit, bro. That's a full skit right there.
You just gave me a visual because I put a cape on the guy knocking on the window with the big C19 right here.
C19 right there. Look. The fuck, yo.
Oh shit.
Yo, do I have COVID? Yo, what the fuck? Yo, I wish COVID Man would come and save me.
COVID Man.
Look.
This is COVID Man antibodies.
Yo, I'm gonna make a whole infomercial, bro.
I heard your cries for help, and I'm here.
Which kind of vaccine do you want? 1 month, 2 months, 6 months?
No, I don't worry about it. I got you. And I spray that shit like that, like. You know, oh, thank you, COVID.
Oh, God.
Thank you, COVID Man. And I'm gonna put Vicks on your chest. I'll see you soon.
COVID Man, take me away from all of this.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
All right. So with now, do you want your set to look like that? I just want to ask you, do you want it to look like that, Adela? Like you know, like, hey, I grew up.
Yeah.
Like, have you?
You know what I mean? Like, and listen, that's a beautiful place to start. I did the same thing. I started with my house, my grandmother, and then it turned into, man, I grew up a particular way because I started to link that to how I'm raising my sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how different my style, right, of parenting was from the way I was raised. So I had a good way of connecting past and present. You know,
Okay.
so I know my sons, my sons wear $18 socks. One pair cost them $18, and they don't deserve it because they don't do nothing for that. They don't work. They don't. You understand? Blah blah. And so I have a way, and then I'll connect it to how when I was little, we would go to Tom McCann and get socks from like the middle, and the socks weren't even the same. Like you had one long one short one. You had one that was like leggings. It was real loose. It wasn't even tight on your ankle. It was just real saggy. It was a sad look. The sock was like that. Look, the whole time. Look.
Only matching socks you need was for summer.
Yo,
Shorts.
yo, your sock was like that. Look. Why you just don't throw me in the garbage already? Yo, we had holes in us anyway. But you guys see where I'm going, Adela. It doesn't take me long to get to the funny. So
Okay.
I just, like I said, so the work for you
Yes.
is distinguishing the story, like notes, the little beats where you can go, oh my God, that's true. Like, this is fun. Like this would be funny here. But so you're gonna take like all your stories and you're gonna try to, like we do with Ricardo. Ricardo had like 9 different stories about his mom, but in essence, it's just one joke. He just has these different pieces that we're going to get to, like different little pieces. His mother's.
Yeah, I had a question. Sorry, bro. Just before I forget, did you have any other premises that you thought about? Because that's one premise, but did you think about any other premises that you might want to talk about?
No, I think that's the only thing I was able to come up with at the moment.
Okay.
I mean, I talk about being gifted,
Okay.
and I wrote something here about, so I'm gifted. Yes, you too. I swear all I have to do is think and boom, something happens. So this manifesting is some serious business, just working on manifesting $1 million. But please, whatever you do, be specific in your freaking details, because you could get $1 million. It's just how you're going to get them. So that's a different one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother premise right there. That's dope.
Okay.
Yeah. So because you're building out your set, right? So one, it could be what Mark was saying. You could start with one story. Like if you want to build your whole set about your childhood, then sure. But if you want to like tie in some of this other premises that you're talking about, and then come up with many more premises, like many premises,
Okay.
just different things that you want to talk about. Because Mark, it's so easy for him to find the funny in anything you tell him that he'll just go down that road. But I challenge you to come up with many different premises that you could throw at us, because there might be some gold in there.
Okay.
So
Yes.
Mark will always tell you to pursue what you're saying, all day long. But to test out different things, try different things. That was good. That was good. Like you're gifted and you're manifesting $1 million. Like there's so many things right now, and that's relevant. Everybody's manifesting. Everybody's all conscious. Everybody's meditating now. Everybody's woke.
Everyone's in touch with their universe.
Everyone's in touch with the
Don't touch my universe.
And there you go.
I'm waiting for my $1 million.
So that's relevant. So there, so there's gold in there. So keep digging.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. And again, all of your experiences, is material, right? All of your experiences in life. Again, the other thing I will say, and then I'll move on. Your grandmother is a character that we want to know.
Oh,
So
claro que sí. Seguro que Jess la van a conocer. Felicita Vega se llamaba ella.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to do a Spanglish version, or you're gonna talk like her and then translate, because remember, the greater audience won't know. Look, I when I do the joke about the novela, I make sure I explain to the audience
what the novela is.
That's the Spanish soap opera, and you see a lot of people going, yeah, I know. But then there's like 50 people that are like, oh, okay.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Right. It's a term for us. Bodega. Listen, even a bodega, they don't say that in Los Angeles. They don't have that. They don't have in all of California. There are no bodegas. They just have 7-Elevens and things like that. They don't have like Target in a box, like us,
Right.
you know what I mean, in New York, where we can walk in and get, we can get Pampers, we can get a beer.
We could get beer, Pampers,
And
cigarettes.
peso de jamón in the same place. Like there is no place like a bodega. There's only a bodega like a bodega. So
Right.
but remember that, as you grow, you have to know that. You have to know that people
Right.
people don't know everything that we talk about. So
Bodega Patrol. Yeah.
yeah.
Bodega's the only spot you could buy cats and cat food at the same place.
In the same place. Yeah. Like I said, I call it.
You could buy
We got a
cat
couple
food
of
for
stray
that
cats in the back. Pick them up.
Yeah, my woman has never been to a bodega, so I tell her it's just think of a Target in like our kitchen. You know what I mean? Like a whole Target. It's right in our kitchen. Like you can get everything in that motherfucker. Everything.
So wait, so you just triggered something. Let me see if I could, because I want to add this to that. So I remember when I was young, my grandmother used to take me to a specific bodega, a little grocery store, right? And it's so funny because whenever she walked in, I would see her walk in with so much confidence in this store that I felt that she owned it, like she was part of the business. So I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. Like I get free cakes and free, candy and shit, because he always gives me a paleta when I come in. And so I got a paleta. I'm like, my mom is really cool. Later did I realize that these little receipts weren't paychecks. They were a list of food that she used to borrow at the first of the month. At the end of the month, she came with her food stamps to pay him off. That's what was in the paleta. Because it was 2 cents that was left over from her food stamps. I was like, what the hell? Now it's time to be embarrassed.
Yeah, so they were like loan sharks too.
Yeah,
they would loan money. Yeah, they would loan money. They would you would say, yo, pónmela en la cuenta.
How you loan groceries?
And then they come out with one of these books, and they be looking for your name.
Yeah. And I remember when I used to go to the store and I used to tell them, my grandmother said,
$10,000 in food stamps.
Exactly. I used to tell them, my mother said to put it on her cuenta. And the store owner used to be looking at me like this. Like I was stealing from him. He would be like,
Yo, why you walking out?
He'd be like, yo, your mother ain't shit. Like, so you left with groceries that you didn't pay for. Yo, you left the store with groceries you didn't pay for because you had a cuenta, and that anyway, that was hilarious. Listen, that's a good premise. I like that.
All right.
And just explain, listen to me. We're gonna find the funny in the cuenta. Because that's what you're gonna call it on stage. You're just gonna explain it to the audience. Okay? I do a joke about income tax, the way my grandmother used to say it. I'm gonna get you the sneaker cuando yo cojo el income tax. She didn't, and I used to be like, I don't even know what that is. I'm 7, and she like, I don't have it now, but cuando me llega el income tax, you're gonna have it. And people laugh at the way I say income tax, like, and it winds up, and I hear them repeating it, and it makes me feel good about the rest of the joke, right? So Adela, you're just gonna do the same thing.
Okay.
You're gonna have to be a little bit more explaining your Spanglish, but don't move away from that. Okay. Just know that you have to explain, because you said paleta, like everybody knows what that is. We don't.
Yeah.
You have to think.
Paleta is a lollipop I would get at the
right, which is and it's easy. You go, I'm walking out of the store with a paleta, which is a lollipop, and I'm sucking on it. Look, this is you as a little girl. Look, right? Yeah. And it's and you don't know that it was in la cuenta, like that you got the lollipop, like
My mother had to pay the 5 cents after all.
Exactly. So there was no free paleta. You just thought it was.
Right.
So that's good. Again, just write for that. Write the whole experience. I want to hear the whole experience, and I want to cut it down.
I gotta tell you this. I gotta say my mom used to tell me when I was little, we were in La Bodega, that if you ate it before you left, it's still there.
Yeah. You ate that shit quick. You don't have to pay for that. The wrappers, you don't pay for wrappers. I pay for what's inside. There's something inside.
I still do that shit. I'm the worst. My woman now, she goes, I'm never going to Walmart with you because I eat everything while I'm in there, then I don't pay.
It's free.
The strawberries be done.
Yo, right? You see? And I told my girl, I go, you know where I learned that from? My grandmother. She used to eat all the grapes and then never pay for the shit. Like all the grapes was gone in the
The
bag.
whole family go together. We all eating through the aisles together, and then we all throw this shit out in the garbage, and we only pay for what we brought up to the counter.
Grapes is dirty. Y'all eating dirty grapes.
That's messed up.
Y'all walk around eating dirty grapes.
Get that money, man. That was the Goku bra right there. When you got the food stamps, you walk through the aisles and buy everything and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
All right, Mion, you're up. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a very, very funny comedian. Please put your hands together for Mion Bryant. You got to get used to being announced. That's right.
All right, what's up, y'all? All right.
Woo.
All right. Being a mom to a first grader is crazy. I feel like they want me to learn too, just patience. I mean, I barely signed up to be a mom and now I got to be a teacher too. I don't like teaching my daughter because I have ADHD and she has ADHD. So I know this shit about to be stressful. We both not focused, but now I got to act like I got it together for her. So I say, okay, Bella, okay, come on, sit down, let's do this. Real simple, Bella. If Johnny has 7 apples and he leaves 3 at home, how many apples does he have? She look at me and say, well, mommy, I don't like apples. I said, Bella, I know you don't like apples, but they're not your apples. They're Johnny apples, okay? They're not your apples. I'm asking you about Johnny apples. So if Johnny has 7 apples, Bella, and he leaves 3 at home, how many does he have? But mommy, why did he forget the apples? At this point, I'm like, my child is dumb. She's stupid. Dumb. This is math we're working on, Bella. We're trying to solve a problem. This is not about apples. It's about, he can have strawberries, grapes, whatever, Bella. Let's just solve the problem. And I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, Johnny clearly isn't the problem. And that's all I got so far.
That was good, right?
Oh, that was great. That was awesome.
Thanks, y'all. I tried to draw it out a little more.
That's good. Yeah.
No, but you see what you did.
So that was
Yeah.
good.
Your confidence had us compelled. Everybody was watching and everybody was listening. So the difference between me on last week and this week was confidence.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And
you already have the ending to that. Remember, it's you did 2. The third one is when you freaking lose it. The third one is when you go nuts.
Oh, yeah, the third. Okay.
So the third one is like, I don't care about the fucking apple.
Fuck the apple.
Fuck the apple, right? Like that third one is where you explode.
Yes, exactly. So let me break it down, Mion, and please take this note because it's important. When you go into the math problem, be a little bit more explanatory in that note. All right. So I'm helping listen, guys, right? Because the audience are your peoples. It doesn't matter. You know, remember, I always tell you guys, the audience doesn't know anything. So you got to tell them everything. So you got to think of the audience as like a blank sheet of paper because they don't know shit. And they're watching you for a reason because they're not willing to do this part, the hard part, the work part. So
she fell out.
Where'd she go?
She fell out real quick. She must be coming back soon.
It must be internet.
Yeah,
mine fell out. So
yeah, mine has been acting up too. I had to call.
We're supposed to have 5G. Yeah, people
I had to call Pakistan so somebody could help me with my internet.
I had my Wi-Fi had COVID last week. That's why it wasn't good. So
you're COVID, man.
I had to give it the antibodies. Y ahora está bien y más ahora because I put the antibodies in the Wi-Fi in the modem.
Put that shit in the modem.
I gotta wait till she
in the modem.
In the modem, baby. I was like, Toma.
We gotta wait till she comes back, but she did awesome. That was cool.
Yeah, look, guys. Again, Adela didn't see her last week, and you know, she was struggling with confidence.
Okay.
Because Ricardo doesn't have that issue. He comes out firing. He doesn't give a shit what anybody is thinking. He's just breathing, which is good. That's how I want you guys to become creatively. Which is like, let's say I do a joke and you guys are like, oh my God, you know what's funny, Mark? If you did this, right? So once we get to that point, then you know that the comfort level creatively is there.
Right.
So last week she had us at the edge of our seat. Her confidence was very low. And this week she comes out firing and she's ready. And then she starts to lose confidence. Like it starts here. And then all of a sudden instead of it going like this, it went, right?
Okay.
She forgot to do the ending. She forgot to do the ending. So I just wanted to explain to her. So I'm going to go off on that note. I wrote the note down. Let me finish. Hold on, guys.
There she is. She's coming back.
Okay. She back? Okay. I think her phone died. She always comes on with like partial phone.
My phone always. I was like, they gonna talk about my ass. My phone always.
You make me feel better because this shit always happening to me, and I can see it happening to somebody else.
I was like, I know they
I appreciate it.
They talk.
How you get on an hour call with 1%? Like,
all right, Mion, I want you to write this note down. I want you to start in love and end in hate. Okay. So start in love, end in hate. So you know, hey, I'm trying to do my best. That really is what it is, and it's all about my. The problem is my patience, because I'm like, Bella. Now we got to do this math, Bella. You have to sit down, and she running around all over the house, right? You got to set it up a little. Okay, she sits down, and I'm like, okay, here's the question, Bella. You ready? I'm ready, mommy. I'm so ready. Mommy, I'm ready, right? Now she's doing what first graders do, right? She's picking her nose. She's doing whatever. She got her head on the table. She pick her head up, right? And you can act all this out. You're free to do whatever you want. Mommy, so what's the question, mommy? Okay, Bella, Johnny has 7 apples, right, baby? And he leaves 3 at home. How many apples, right? You're sincere, you're being beautiful mommy, everything is cuties. You know, she's 7 apples, now she leaves 3. How many apples does Johnny have? Mommy, I don't like apples, right? I don't like, because apples make my mouth go like that. Look, mommy. Right? Now you just, look, this is you though. Like, okay, Bella, we're not, please, with the mouth. Please don't do that with your mouth. So Johnny, listen to me. Johnny has 7, but look at me. Right? So now people are seeing your frustration mounting, right? So you go from, I love her, she's my baby, and I want to do this, to suddenly they starting to watch you fade. You know, and like Caesar said, it has to happen in 3s. So the second one is, okay, Bella. All right, Bella, look at me. Stop doing that with your mouth. Johnny has 7 apples. Now you're not cute and sweet anymore. Johnny has 7 apples. He leaves 3 in the house. Right, Bella? How many apples does Johnny have? And now Bella's like, but mommy, who's Johnny anyways? Why is Johnny coming over tomorrow? Because I want to have a play date with Johnny because he has apples and I want to make an apple pie. You are like, holy shit. Why are you making an apple pie? Johnny has set. Now you're pissed off. Listen to me, Bella. Bella, I want to go outside. We have shit to do, Bella. Bella, Johnny has fucking 7 apples. Listen, look at me. Look at my face. Johnny has 7 fucking apples. He leaves 3 in the fucking house.
Wait. And
you understand what I mean? Like,
since you have ADHD as well, you start thinking about apple recipes.
Apple pie.
Right, exactly. You understand what I mean? Like, listen, that moment is yours, but now you're not. There's no more. This is my point. No more Mr. Nice Guy. You understand what I mean? No more Mr. Nice Guy, Mion. You are now done. I'm done. Again, I know you want to tell, like, I want it to be bigger. You just make it bigger in your act out, is what I mean. But you got to get there quickly. This is what she is. This is where I start. People are going to laugh in between. I promise you. if you're her, like I do it, and this is what I mean, you know her better than me, so you have to become her better than me. When you do that, these people are going to be holding their heads and laughing. They're going to be like, holy shit, that's hilarious. Because I'm thinking about when my sons were in first grade. You understand what I mean? Where you have a literal first grader in your house. So all you got to do is just be in that moment. And I'm making stuff up as I go along. Make shit up. Make it up. This is what I mean about it starts in the truth and becomes your embellishment as you go. Okay, it becomes your story to tell, and you can embellish however you want. And this is where the embellishment works the best. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Bella. You know, I mean, I'm sure you like this, Bella. Look, this, you know, just 7 apples. 3 at home. How many does he have? You should know this. You've been doing this every day. What is it? And she's just off to the races. I mean, you don't even know how. This is what I mean. The more outlandish, the funnier it's going to be. So we started off with applesauce. You know what I mean? We started off with all this other stuff, but you can do whatever you want. Okay. Do whatever you want with it. But remember, so next week, start in love completely and then end in hate. Okay, end in hate. I don't care. Listen, your story. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I just want you to be show us gradual this shit right here, Mion. Look. And yeah, we love your notes to yourself. Oh my God, this girl ain't gonna be shit. We might listen. What time they start stripper school? Cause you listen to me. You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do shit with this math. I'll tell you that much. That rocket science that I wanted you to be, that shit ain't you, girl. Right, it ain't gonna happen. Right. If you can't get 7 apples down, like, are you serious? You know, so. So let me know. Oh wow, so it would be intermediate. This is class 5. This is class 5.
Yeah, this is class 5.
No.
Yeah.
No.
See what happened was.
You guys missed like 3 classes.
She got 1.5, 3. She got 4. I think I got 4 and a quarter.
No, I didn't get the thing for number 1. I didn't get the Zoom.
I was gonna ask later, like,
all right.
Class?
I'm gonna see if my boss Caesar will give us a bonus class next week where I can bring a guest. And we can wrap this up the way I want, because
we love you, Caesar.
You just get hit in the head with a. Of course, he's getting shot over there, by the way.
I'm getting dinged with these brackets from my grandson. Get out of my room.
Yeah. So if you, I'll see if I can close this deal with Caesar. Maybe we'll do a bonus class for you guys next week, and I can get you guys to do your set clean, to do as much as you can clean, however, whatever that means, just I want to see it through, just all your thoughts and everything.
You don't have to be a whole hour. Half an hour. It could just be like a half an hour or something like that, right?
No. I don't want to rush, because I still like to give you guys as much information and on the comeback. You know what I mean? And like I said, before the intermediate class begins, I like to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as the material is concerned. Because when we come back to intermediate, I'm going to require more premises and more of this, right? So yeah.
So after this class, we go into intermediate?
No, it'll be a bonus. I'm just going to do a bonus beginners class. So okay. And then we'll start the intermediate class in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Mion, are you cool with that note?
Yeah, I just got to get like dramatic.
Yeah, you just gotta listen. Honestly, you gotta live in those moments, right? And that's what comedy is. You're gonna recreate the funny, But now you're adding the funny. What's funny is her retorts and your retorts. That's funny. It's funny. Yeah. It's funny to watch. It's funny to watch you come in. Sweetheart, sit down, baby girl. We got to do this. We got to get this done because mommy I got to do laundry. You got shit to do. Whatever it is that you're doing. I'm only making it up. Tell your real story. I have things to. I cannot do first grade math for the next 3 hours. We have to get this done. You understand? Okay, she sits down. All right, let's go. All right, Johnny, I gotta help you because Johnny has the right, and now at first you're loving, right? And now, so what you're gonna do is overact the loving. That's all I'm asking is overact it. Like, okay, Bella, baby, mommy loves you. Just 7, boom, 3. What's going on? Now she's off, she's right, and now you're getting, all right, okay, Bella, oh my God. You understand? Now the audience can feel you, and then the last one is, listen, bitch. Understand what I mean? Like, now you could be mumbling this to yourself, the audience, this is not what you're saying to her, but this is like your inner voice going, listen, bitch. If you don't figure out between you and Johnny and these fucking apples, I'm about to throw this whole shit. Listen.
But why do it really be like that? You be so.
You understand what I mean? Like, no, but you
gotta say
you
that.
can be on stage like this.
No, I gotta say that.
Yeah.
But you feel bad calling your kid. Like I felt bad calling her dumb, but I'm like, something ain't right.
Yeah, something's right. Ain't clicking.
Something's not right.
Look, my son used to put the straw in the juice box and squeeze the juice box, and the juice used to fly out, and the shit was all over the floor. And I used to be like, Xavier, bro, like, don't squeeze the juice. Like, how this shit is not that difficult, Like, so believe me, I know I've done jokes about them not being these boys just like Neanderthal. They just don't get it. So I believe it's okay because
I got a boy too. I know y'all talking about.
Yeah, you're not
common sense.
Yeah, Mian, you're not saying it outright. It's almost like your inner voice. You understand?
Right,
like you're not telling the audience, hey guys, guess what? My daughter's not gonna be shit. You're just like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, if you don't sit your punk ass down and finish this Johnny Apple shit, right? And now, so I just what I'm saying is, unfortunately for comedy, you just can't come out and say that because then it comes off rough and raw. We want to, you're going to gradually get into it because in real life, that's what would happen. You know what I mean? In real life, you're going to be like, all right, sit down. You're going to set her up. She's got, what is it? A goldfish in a little plate because that calms her ass down. Or whatever it is, and you're gonna try to like, all right, let's go, let's get this, blah blah, and then so you're gonna create the world, okay?
What you should do, you should record yourself, right? Teaching your daughter something like that, so that when you do make it big in comedy and you come back to that scene, you can replay it. You know what I mean? And do the comedy stand up again and replay that episode with your daughter.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's all, like I said, it's all good. Again, kudos to coming out strong and having your confidence there because nobody knows this material like you do. Right. That's even better for next week. You're bigger, you're stronger, and your confidence is a part of the process. So it looks so much better now this week than last week. Or again, you just didn't, as Caesar said, you missed that note. You missed the pissed off part. We wanted to see that. Like, you understand what I mean? So next week, remember, love to hate. Like, the scale tips. You start very loving, the scale tips. And now at the end, you're like, not only are you pissed off at her, you're pissed off at Johnny and his goddamn apples. And I want to see that next week. I want to see you get pissed off at the apples, at Johnny, at the math teacher. Well, who gives a shit about these apples? Any goddamn, you understand? I don't care who it is. I want you to just ride with it, okay?
And one note from me, because you added this. This was new. You never said anything about the ADHD before.
No, hilarious.
Love it.
Because we talked about the autism, but since I don't know a lot about autism, I'm like, I have ADHD for real. I'll be somewhere. Y'all can tell I'm on the screen. I'm doing everything while we're in class. What the fuck? Right. Sit down. It says don't come off camera. I'm on camera the whole time. Can't see. I'm returning. So it's like, I know that.
It's relatable, Emian. So people will relate, and that's what they're gonna look for in your stories. They want to relate to your story. They want to be able to say, you know what, I'm not crazy after all. Look.
But what you did there,
comedian, she's going through that.
What you did there, though, is you opened yourself up for an opportunity to call that back, right? By doing that, by adding that little bit at the beginning. You can call that back 100 times over. It'll be hilarious every time.
Right. You could now when you're like, you could be at work and be like, and you guys know I got the ADHD. they're gonna immediately be like, that's true. She got the ADHD. She can't sit down for 2 seconds. You understand? So, and again, it becomes
run with it.
Yeah, it becomes a part of your story. Okay, it just becomes a part of your story. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I get a pleasure to introduce my boy. Very, very funny. Usually he's Ricardo. Today he's Chantel Rivera. Please give it up right now for Ricardo Chantel Rivera.
Oh, man. How everybody doing today? How's everybody doing today?
Doing good, baby.
The best part about growing up without a father is that you grow up with your mothers. You say you grow up with your mother and you end up with her problems, all her hopes and her dreams. When I grew up, I always wanted to be a sexy girl. And the problem is I'm a guy. That's a difficult thing for me, especially with the fact that I love females. Hold on, I gotta catch my breath. I started off too fast and I didn't take a breath, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh shit, I got caught up. Hold on.
You got it.
And then Chantel came downstairs. She makes me nervous, bro. She's like, yeah, you're making me nervous, Chantel. Get out of here. I know, but I'm doing it in front of you, in front of other people. It's different. I said I would be with my mom watching Sex and the City and Envy. You know what I mean? And it was different. You know what I mean? I had a void inside me that I needed to fill by a tall, handsome gentleman. And, you know, I would go to the clubs and I would go dressed as sexy as I possibly can be. And I would sit there waiting for a girl to come talk to me and it never happened. You know what I mean? I'm just like pissed off. So one day I just said, you know what? Tired of spending my money on these girls. I'm tired of going out here. I just walked home, and on my walk home, I see a group of people standing in front of the club and they call me over and they say, hey, come over. So I'm like, oh, you know, I was feeling lonely and depressed and down and out. And, you know, I felt like, hey, hi. I walked across, and the closer I get to these people, the more I start noticing that it's just guys, but they look like girls though. Like from a distance, kind of pretty, but real close, you knew that this was a guy. So I was like, oh man, I was thrown off from right there. I was like, I'm gonna go home, that's it. So the guy stopped me and says, hey, look, I got a VIP table downstairs. You wanna come with us? I was like, bitch, hello, let's go downstairs and party. I went downstairs, VIP bottle. We was having a fun time. I met this guy named Charlie. It was so nice. You know, it was like, I didn't have to, like, I play hard to get. He didn't have, like, I just met him. He's a nice guy. You know what I mean? He's having problems with his, you know, with his boyfriend and stuff like that. And he just wanted somebody to talk to. I was having problems too. I wanted somebody to talk to. So he took me on vacation and we went to Cancun, Mexico. We went to the beach. He was having a good time. And I told him, listen, at the end of the day, like, I like the attention and stuff, but like, I'm not, like, I'm saving myself for marriage. So if you think that you're going to get some of this stuff before, you know what I mean? You ain't getting a piece of this ass unless I know I can get half of your shit. First thing, that's exactly what's going down. You know what I mean? I kind of messed that one up. I had something different, but I'm kind of like ad-libbing right now. I'm going in on what I wrote before and I'm just adding because I just kind of like stopped writing what I had here and started going off of what I remembered in my joke. So pretty much I just ended up going out with this guy and we had a blast and we became really close friends and, you know, a relationship blossomed. And then I just, you know, stood him up and I just didn't talk to him after a while. And I kept doing this. Me and my friends were hanging out and I told them, I said, listen, you guys need to come out and hang out with me. My friends wasn't having it. They was like, I'm not going to no gay club with you. First day they went in there, didn't have to spend $1. All they had to do was wear the fitted jeans that they wore last week. That's all they had to do. Fitted jeans, a nice shirt, and they good to go. They didn't have to spend $1. So we took the money that we saved up from this week and we went to the club next week with double the amount of money and we was able to afford a couple of girls to come hang out with us. So it works out. Like every other week, we would go to the gay clubs to save up some money. It's not a big deal. You know, it boosts up our self-esteem. We go to the clubs the next week and then it's just me and the guys hanging out. We get in a circle, just me and the guys. We're like, yo, no girls, no guys is dancing with us. I'm out with my friends, leave me alone. All the girl stuff that girls do in the clubs, I just did it as a guy, you know?
Oh, wow.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's extra, but I gotta really cut it down, and I'm still having a little problem with that.
Nah, bro, I'm gonna jump right in because I love this. The beginning, you were, to me as an audience member, you were describing like falling in love.
Yeah.
The whole thing was like a first date, and this guy took you out. He did the whole.
Yeah, we was falling in love a little bit. And I got scared. I was like,
the way that you did it, and I'm so glad this is being recorded because you got to look at it. the way that you did it, you didn't even realize that you were falling in love with this man.
Yep.
I was pulling up with this guy a little bit, you know.
True. It's
Then I had to
true.
play out the game, you know.
Oh,
I added a couple of other things where I added where we got he convinced me to get my boho waxed and bleached. And I was like, as a man, I never seen my asshole so pretty. Like it was the most beautiful boho I ever seen in my life. It was my boho. I never seen it. And I was like, you know what? I had to show it off. I showed him once. That's it. He didn't touch it. He didn't do nothing.
Oh my God.
He just looked at it, and that's it. I swear to God. I'm not no fucking whore, okay? He just looked.
Oh God.
You just went into Caesar's favorite part, morbid comedy.
Yeah, that's my shit right there.
Oh
I be going in a little too much with that kind of comedy.
Oh my God, Caesar's applauding. Caesar's like, I love it. More crazy story.
You nasty.
Oh no, that's the tip of the ice. That's not even the 10% of the tip of the iceberg right
No.
there.
Please.
The
And we don't
last-
want to hear about the tip of anything right now. We all feel like we have to take a shower now because you made us feel dirty. Like,
Keep your tips to yourself.
You gotta know that because it's true. You could take it there. You're one line away from being ha 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 to ew.
Yeah, that's what I want to play with. I want to play with that line right there and be like, whoa, for the whole
laughing like that. Look.
So you got to know where that line is. You know?
Yeah, I be crossing it sometimes. So that's why I cross it so I know where it's at. So next time I don't touch that line, but I still do it anyway.
No. Listen, the point is that nobody, listen, my boy, look this dude up, Big J Okerson.
Oh, man. Yes. I definitely follow my man.
Do you?
The way he does his comedy, I love it.
If you guys don't know, I mean, Big J does very similar humor. It's a little darker, but he's so committed to being himself. It doesn't matter. At least he's telling you exactly who and what he is, you know? You know?
Yeah, and that definitely was something I looked at. And I was like, I want to stay away from the profanity because I want to get better at that for my kids and for myself. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like, damn it, I'm going against my roots here. You know what I mean? My mom is a potty mouth. I'm a potty mouth. I curse. You know what I mean? And that's how I express myself. Sometimes funnier that way. But then again, I get too vulgar, I get too extra, and it becomes inappropriate.
No, and like I said, it's not, this is the thing. This is the beauty about it. It's just us. But I'm gonna pull it in a second. You can talk, dude, whatever you want is good. Okay. I don't want you to ever fear the topic. The topic, as long as it's you, it's good.
Gotcha.
And so this was just fine, and it's really funny, you know, because the thing is that you don't gotta constantly tell the audience what it is that you're not doing. Like, no, I'm not gonna do this, and I'm not gay, and I'm not, you can, because when you start your set, it's like, I'm married, I got a woman, I got a family, blah, blah. And then you're just gonna hit them with these constant curveballs, which is really great because they don't see it coming. Like I said, if you watch Big J, kind of just watch his style on how he talks about, I think his boy, he has one of his friends is real handsome, and they locked eyes, and he was thinking about who's going to be on top, who's going to be on bottom, blah, blah.
That's shit.
Yeah. It's just some real awful, awful hilariousness that's involved in, I wonder if I'm gay, but I'm not. You know what I mean?
I like to do mani-pedis. I like to bunchinche, you know what I mean? We can go out and talk. And I wrote the joke originally talking about the fact that I like to do mani-pedis and I like to do gay stuff, but I'm not all the way gay because I like to have sex with females. I'm not butthole gay sex. I'm just mani-pedis gay. You know what I mean? We can hang out. Like, I be looking at girls have slumber parties and I be jealous. So I want to have slumber parties with my guy friends, but they don't want to dress up, take pictures and look sexy and fucking hit people with pillows and shit. And they don't want to talk about feelings or nothing. They just want to talk about girls or how they get pussy. And I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about my feelings. But you know what I mean? The girls don't want to do that with me because I'm a guy. So it's inappropriate. You know what I mean? And then I went into being gay. But I figure I can go about it different ways. As I do this, the comedy thing with you, I'm trying to, mess with it a little bit more.
Yeah. No. I want you to stay wherever. Like I said, the beauty of this workshop is that I'm never shunning creativity. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna say, hey, don't create, don't, You know what I mean? Like don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna write notes to this because you have notes that I have from the other one, and I just want to make sure that we're not getting to a 45-minute set with you because we still have to get you to do a great 5 to 7. There's gonna get you work. There's gonna get you stage time.
I'm still working on that superhero mom stuff. Like I got some extra stuff that I just didn't throw out here. I don't know why I did it. I just had this one in front of me, so I figured let me do this one. I wrote some other things, and I brought a bunch of other things here too during the week that came to me, and it's just like, damn, I want to throw that out too, but it's like I really want to work on the ones that we've been working on, like you said, redoing the same ones over and over and perfecting that, so that I can take that and use it to the ones I have here.
Because you got 3, right? It's 3.
I believe so, yeah. But I kind of like more like one big one than 2.
Well, and
I'm trying to mix it together and make it.
Moving forward, this is one thing I noticed about all 3 of you, right? And I timed you guys, and you guys are all in at about like almost 3 minutes, right? So
really,
yeah, which means you got work. You got a ton that you could still do. You know what I mean? So you got to start getting in the habit. And this is more of like intermediate, and you know, when you start, but he doesn't, and Mark doesn't have this problem. He has material for days, right? But you guys have to start timing yourself every time. Like you have to, when you're practicing throughout the week or whenever, take your phone and do your set and time it.
Okay.
And you'll start to see how much you really are still missing to even come to the 5 minutes, right? Ricardo, yeah, you have stories for days, but today you performed one little piece, right? Yeah. So you have to start seeing like, all right, I'm at 2 minutes, I'm at 3 minutes, I'm at 5 minutes with my full set. You probably have material for days as well, but you got to know when you're doing a set, what's your 5?
I can't just jump to different topics. I gotta be together.
Like, what's your 5? That's the whole. And then one tip for that is time yourself. I do that with Gilbert. Like you got to time yourself. It's important at the beginning, you know, so that you know what you're dealing with. But that's it, bro.
Now, I wanted to ask a question. It's real quick. I'm sorry. As far as talking about certain things and staying away, I have a joke about my autistic cousin. Like, would you say not to go there or just stay with it?
It all depends on what you want to roll out with it. Autism is a touchy subject because now there's a lot of children with different spectrums of autism. Yeah. But if it's in a way where it's not hurtful or demeaning in any way towards the autism, you know, the symptoms that they feel, I would go for it. I mean, it's something that people can relate. I know a lot of people in my circle, their children have autism or a spectrum of autism. My grandson has a spectrum.
My thing is it's the whole thing of, is it a touchy subject that nobody really touches like that? Or
well, it all depends.
Write this name down.
If you're gonna come out like 45 and start, you know, like and start doing that on stage, are you teasing? Are you mocking? What are you trying to tell the audience with the idea that your cousin or your family member is autistic? You know what I mean?
Look up this comedian Arnez J.
Oh my God. I love him.
He has his brother's handicapped, and he does a whole bit about his brother. And I always tell comedians, you know, there's a difference between doing, this is what I mean, Ricardo, just on that note. If you're looking for the funny in it, that's where it becomes wrong, because you start looking like you're trying to be funny.
Fun at it. See, me, I just went for it because my aunt, my cousin autistic, he has that overbite, he has the shaking and stuff like that. Yeah. So as a kid, you know what I mean? I was fine with it, with these people, but when I had a traumatic experience with him, my aunt let him watch zombie movies during the Halloween. And she dressed him up as a zombie. Like, you don't dress an autistic kid up as a zombie and then teach him about zombie. And he went and bit me. And it scared the shit out of me. And I've been scared of autistic kids ever since that. You know what I mean? So I wrote a joke about that, but I'm like, I don't know if I should talk about it because he popped out the showers. He bit me. And I'm like, what the
that's
fuck
funny.
is going on here? You know what I mean? It scared me. But I'm like, why would my aunt do that? She's kind of stupid. You don't put an autistic kid to watch zombie movies.
So they can bite you.
Right. See, again, it's just, you know, it's just the way that you talk about it. That's all. You know, again, if you come off mean spirited, again, I tell everybody, I had a handicap joke when I went to a club, not like a nightclub, but like I went to this club and the DJ was handicapped, right? He was, and I never seen that before. So I went to the comedy club and I talked about it.
Well, yeah,
It didn't, I don't know. I don't even remember the joke, but I was like, I think his name was DJ Impaired or some shit like that. And forget it. Like one night, another comedian was like, yeah, that joke seems cheap, so leave it alone. And so I left it alone because I didn't know how to write it better. I didn't know how to perform it better. So again, if it sounds or feels cheap, the audience will turn on you, bro. So I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm just saying be careful how you talk about it. Wording is everything. So yeah, you're good.
Thank you
all right
so much.
So next, I'm gonna talk to Caesar. You guys will get an email about next week, Monday, and we'll figure it out. I'm sure Caesar will say, let's do a bonus class because some of you guys missed the first one. And we'll just have fun. Again, I will have a special guest for you guys. And we're gonna do everything we're doing now. We're just gonna hear more about comedy and you know, the touch and feel of it so that we can write better, like almost like you're packaging it in a little bit better. You know?
So you want me to have at least 3 premises? So my grandmother growing up, the bodega.
Well, it's going to be your final beginner's class. So I would say make the most of it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would tell you, shoot for that 5 minutes.
Okay.
For that 5 minutes. You got one more performance on this class before you jump into the next one where you have to come through with 5 minutes.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
So start getting used to, you know, those 5, you know, push for that 5 minutes.
And do you want me to add, not to the 5 minutes, but do you want me to add the manifesting, what I was talking about?
You're going to have to, because you were only at 3.
Okay. All right. So grandmother growing up.
Add everything, practice it, time yourself. And by the time you're here next week, you're doing a full 5 or 6 and it's solid. Have a beginning, have a middle, have a close.
Okay.
You know, and that's it.
Cool beans.
Yeah, as much writing as you can. Don't worry about it. Just again, we can't hear every story, but we can hear as many premises as you can write.
Right.
Okay, got it.
So, yeah, if you come up with another story that you already have on top of what you have, it's beautiful. It's fine. You know, Mian, I want to see this joke in full spectrum next week. In full spectrum. So, literally a beginning and an end. You know what I mean? As best you can. That's all.
But the punchline, how do you know what the punchline is? Like, how do I know?
Well, that is the fuck them apples.
The punchline is the fact that you
flip out.
Yeah.
Oh, flip out. Right. Okay.
The whole
flip out.
Exactly. The punchline could be a whole minute of you flipping out. Yeah.
Remember, this is just.
Oh my God, I have mounting dishes I need to get to, and this child can't even count 3 apples. Damn
it! Yeah, just going off for a full minute.
Or maybe the answer, you give her the answer and the answer is wrong. How about that? That's hilarious. You know, it's 7, it's 3, take away, you know, it's 3 from 7, Bella. Jesus Christ, everybody knows that's 6 or with some shit, you know.
Shit.
Right?
I say that last week though, that you both took the test and you give it back and it was wrong.
And she's like, "Mommy, no, it's not. It's 4." And you're like, "You see, you do know it." You know what I mean?
Mark, that's genius. That's genius because that ties back to something you said like 2 or 3 weeks ago when you said that that you both failed.
I said
it. Laura said it. Yeah, that you both ended up failing the class because you couldn't. Now you failed the class because you couldn't count the goddamn apples.
Okay.
Right. So remember, the punchline is the hardest part. Usually requires for you to flush out a lot more information, and that's what we're doing here. You know, that's what this workshop is really about. So we're going to create the space. I'm going to give you guys, you know, helpful hints to getting to your characters, and then once you build the characters, building the punchline based on what's happening with the characters and how you are handling all that information. You know, so like it's just like Caesar said. So it can be any one of those things can be the punchline, just as long as you're committed to the rest of the story. The punchline will hit harder depending on everything else. So you don't have to overthink it. It's right there in front of you. I promise. Yeah. You know, and no Chantel, you got a lot of work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the work.
I'm kidding. I just love calling you Chantel.
I know.
Like
But listen, you could introduce me on stage with that shit.
Are we ready? We ready? We signing out?
Yep, we are.
You get ready, huh?
Yeah, you got a joint ready to go. You're supposed to.
Right? But her grandson keeps coming in the room.
No, he's downstairs. He's downstairs.
Downstairs. No.
No, look, I locked my door and she put a towel underneath.
This is what you need right here. You need to be an actually legal patient. You know what I mean? And then you can get the good stuff.
Yeah.
Nah, I was
I'll
ready.
see you guys next Monday.
That explains why you weren't here on the last class.
Hey!
Oh, she was like, yo, I got
No. I got a doctor's note. You want to see my doctor's note? I swear I got a doctor's
told
note.
you, yo, I got that fire. You better come get it right now. She's like, yo, I got it here. Yo,
She's like, yo, I know how to beat COVID right here.
fire's out there right now.
This is gonna be my third premise. My kind of.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
You guys have a blessed one.
That's actually really funny. A pothead grandma is hilarious.
Oh, hilarious.
That's hilarious. We can go a million places with pothead grandma.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I'm TikTok. My name is Canny Granny. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, that's
Canny Granny.
That's your
Canny Granny.
that's your stage name right there. That sounds like a stage.
That's it. Canny Granny. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, you
But
just
don't-
shouted you out. Look out for me. I'm sending you an invite. I'm looking you up right now.
True. You heard, right? 420s next week.
Yes.
All right, y'all. I'll see you guys next Monday.
All right, Captain
You
Martin.
guys were hilarious. Yeah, y'all was hilarious.
I'll work on my
Yeah.
material this week. Bye,
No,
guys.
you
Buddy.
funny.
Bye, Leon.
Bye, y'all.
All right, you sing.